Thank y'all for joining me on Late Night Tea tonight. I am Danielle C. Giddens. Yes, I am Danielle C. Giddens, and I come to you for Late Night Tea by way of my book, From Poverty and Prison to Purpose, A Journey of Discovering Freedom. I do these late night teas because I talk about conversations from our my book that I actually would like for us to grow and discover freedom together. So I have a great guest tonight, y'all. We are wearing masks because we are about to get naked and unmasked. We are about to get naked and unmasked. We are talking about identity crisis on tonight. And so I have a wonderful guest. I'm going to bring her in. This is Ty Miller. She is the founder of I Am Unmasked. She is a life coach. She is my client. She is my friend. She is a powerhouse, and it is a pleasure to have you on Late Night Tea with Danielle C. Giddens. Hey, honey.
Hey, girl. How are
How you
you?
doing?
Good. I'm so happy to be here on tonight.
I know. I'm so happy to have you. Like, I'm normally always a little, uncomfortable and very nervous. But
Yeah.
sometimes when you have like, powerhouses like yourself, it's just kind of like, this my friend. We
Oh, yeah.
know how
We're
to
just having a
gel.
conversation, right?
We are
We
having a
talking as we always do.
yes, we are having a
Hmm.
conversation, and it would be great and definitely great because we're having this conversation about how we are authentic and how we got naked.
Absolutely. I love it.
Okay, y'all. So I don't know if you guys got my email, but we're talking about identity crisis. And an identity crisis is somebody who just don't know, who they are, and they have these insecurities that they have created within themselves to help
Hmm.
buffer, the fact that they don't know who they are. And so
Hmm.
why not have nobody other than I Am Unmasked herself to grace us with her presence? Ty, let's
Yes.
talk about. So, we are wearing masks because this is how you guys look when you don't know yourself.
Come on. All
And
crooked
so,
and
can
stuff.
you
Not,
imagine?
yeah.
Yes, can you imagine wearing this to work every day?
No.
Smiling like, hey girl, how you doing? And y'all having conversations. Can you imagine
Hmm. Hmm.
how people would be looking at you like crazy? Side eye, like she really
Hmm.
don't know because we really feel that way. Y'all really don't know how y'all look when you don't know yourself. And so
Yes.
to a person with discernment, we're looking at you
Hmm.
a little like sideways, like, honey, you still looking like this after a year or two.
Yes.
Like it's just not good.
It's
So,
hmm
and we've been through it ourselves. We have
absolutely.
unmasked ourselves to learn how to become authentic women.
Hmm.
And so we are on here tonight helping you guys to learn how to unmask.
Yes.
Tell us about Unmask, where it started, how it started, and where it derived from.
So, thank you, Danny, again for having me on here. I just have to start by saying you are such an inspiration to me from the day I met you.
Oh, thank you.
You were real. When you told me that my hair had some unlimited, no limit soldiers in it and all of that stuff, you was just real. So I appreciate you. From the day we met, it's been nothing but love. And how long has it been? It had
It's
to
been
be like
no, it's been actually 12 years.
12. I knew it was over 10 years. Wow, that time went by so
Yeah,
fast.
wait. Yeah, because I've been on my own. So yes. Yes. It's been
Wow.
between 10 to 12 years.
Wow. So that's great. Listen, great friendships, authentic friendships last forever, right?
Yes, they do.
Um,
And they
So,
and those type of friendships help you to grow beyond
yep,
where you are too. Because
absolutely,
they're
absolutely.
uncomfortable.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, Unmasked, just a little bit about Unmasked. In 2013, I found myself basically going into a state of depression. Did not understand why. Realized that I was becoming very resentful of the very people that were around me, and just knew I needed to make some strong and big changes in my life. And so, of course, praying, talking to God. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, why do I feel like this? And he said, just what we're talking about tonight. He said, you don't know who you are. You are
Mm,
wearing a mask. And
mm,
so, 2013, I made a big decision to leave my home church, which was nothing wrong with it, and went
mhm,
to where God led me to go.
mhm,
And God placed me all he placed me in an uncomfortable situation
mm, mm, mm,
just so that I can identify who I am. And so
mm,
he put me in a place where I had to either die or be authentically me. And
mm,
so I strived and I strived. And so 2013 is when I started the journey. 2015, I had my first meeting and I did exactly what we're doing tonight. I bought all of these masks and I gave them out to women and people who were there. And I want to say we had about 20 something women there. And so I was
mm,
like, come on, y'all, let's unmask. Let's reveal the true us. Let's do this.
mhm,
And the the issues and the concerns and the problems that they started talking about, I realized I wasn't ready to handle. And
mm,
after the actual talk we had, we called it a round table.
mhm,
One young lady came to me and said, "I'm not ready.
mm,
It's too many layers." I
mm,
pulled off and I saw something that I'm not ready to deal with.
mm,
At that point, I realized that I needed to get a formal training. So
mm,
that's when I talked to God, like, where do you want me to go with this? And I
mm,
heard just as clear life coach. I did not know what a life coach was.
mhm,
I was like, okay, how do I do this? And I started researching. Long story short, I became a life coach 2017. I officially launched my business, I Am Unmasked. 2019, I I was on the roll with it. I was like, okay,
mhm.
it's a real business. 2021, I had my first successful I Am
Yes.
Unmasked retreat.
Yes, you did. And
And
it was
so
awesome too.
that's where we are. And I Am Unmasked in a nutshell. I Am Unmasked is created to free those who were wrongfully imprisoned in their
Mm,
minds. That's
wrongfully
what I Am
imprisoned.
Asked is.
Mm.
And the
That's
reason someone will say, why don't you just say unmasked? No, you have to put I am. You have to make a declaration.
affirming
You
it.
have to
Right,
affirm
right.
yourself.
Yes.
And we know the story when God, and I don't want to, I don't want to go too far, but we know the story when Moses was sent to deal with a big challenge. He was
Mhm.
like, who do I say that send me? And he said, tell them I am that I am. And so at that point, God
Mm.
let me realize that whatever we put I am in front of, it has to come to pass.
I am
So
unmasked.
so that's how I Am Unmasked was born and birthed.
And that's awesome. Like I think about, I think about the journey that you've been on because like I said, guys, we are wearing
Mhm.
these masks because there
Yes,
was, you can't talk about something that you have not yet have not experienced. And
absolutely.
so, like just like this ministry, I Am Unmasked, has
Mhm.
birthed out of a need and
Mhm.
a desire and something that you had to go through. And
Mhm.
like we have a likeness because we both are helping others. I wrote my book because I wanted people to understand like how I got to be Danielle C. Giddens. Like Danielle Rogers
Absolutely.
had to go
Mhm.
through a lot. I had to,
Mhm.
take off layers of mask. And,
Mhm.
one of the things that I heard you say was we were wrongfully imprisoned.
Mhm.
And so when you said that, that's powerful.
Mhm.
Wrongfully imprisoned. And I think about how I was raised, and
Mhm.
what I did not have. And that, at some point in my house, I
Mhm.
realized that I was surrounded around a bunch of family members
Mm.
and they did not look like me, meaning I didn't understand. Like I didn't want
Yeah.
to get high. I didn't want to be violent. I didn't want to, I wanted something different. So how could I have learned to be
Mhm.
something different if I lived in an environment of
Mhm.
something I didn't want to be?
Yeah.
So that's how I grew up, mimicking all of the other people that I got around, because it's like, oh, well, maybe I
Mhm.
should be like her, or maybe I should be
Mhm.
like her, or maybe I should be like her. And so, that's something that you said that struck me, was wrongfully imprisoned, because,
Yeah.
you were influenced this,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so talk about the some of the things that somebody would feel to be wrongfully imprisoned. Like, that was how I felt, like, going up, not having a dad. I talked about that
Mhm.
last week.
Mhm.
Being molested, I talked about that. It's like
Mhm.
all of these things are trauma filled things that give you an identity crisis, because you really
Mhm.
don't know who you are.
Absolutely. So yes, listen, I share some of the same sentiments.
Mhm.
I too was molested, and I can use that situation, and I'll even use something more recent, because when, like I said, we put I am unmasked, I am in front of unmasked. But
Mhm.
technically, to be honest with you, we are still pulling off layers,
Yeah.
because every time we turn around, there is something else that God brings up, or that we discern in ourselves and say,
Mhm.
okay, listen,
Mhm.
I got to change that. Why do I keep responding this way?
Yeah.
Why do I keep talking this way? It
Mhm.
is something from my childhood. So I too was molested growing up, and we have to understand that the crucial ages um, that we are between the ages of, I believe it's like 3 and 9. Those
Mhm.
are crucial
Mhm.
ages, and I know I was molested from 7 to 9. And so,
Mm.
in that, now listen, before that, if I show you baby pictures of me, I was very confident.
Mm.
As a
As
child,
a
I
child.
was born with this, very confident.
Mhm.
I would take pictures and pose for pictures, and the photographer didn't, have to tell me to pose or have to
Right.
prop me up. My mother and them talked about it all the time. But something happened when I was violated. And so we
Mhm.
talk about violation, and that's the wrongfully in prison.
Yeah.
Because with that, it brings on so many feelings and so many spirits. You talk about it in your book. It's
Mhm.
so many spirits, so many feelings. You feel that you are violated. You feel that you no longer have control, because it's not something that you willfully gave away. So
Right.
now I have to deal with this low self-esteem.
Mhm. Mhm.
I have to deal with not having confidence. I have to deal with this identity crisis,
Yeah.
because now all I know that I am is someone who can be violated
Mm. Mm-mm. And can't trust people.
and can't trust people.
Mm.
So now these the people, and typically the people that violate you are the people that's supposed to protect you. So
Mm.
how will I know who I am?
Wait, the people that violate you are
Are
the
the people
people
that
that's supposed
that
to
to
protect you.
protect you.
Mm.
So now I got a false sense of protection,
Yes.
which makes me, when I get older, go after a significant other that's not going to protect me, but that's going to violate me, because that's what protection looks like to me.
Ooh. Mm. Now that was good. So wait, let put a pin on that for a minute.
Mhm.
I'm violated.
Mhm.
I don't feel protected.
Mhm.
So
Mm-mm.
now I'm out here looking for the same thing
The same thing.
that violated me.
Yep.
Mm.
Because this person taught me that this is what
Mm.
I have to do
This
to
is
make them
who I
feel good,
am.
even though it makes me feel bad.
Sheesh. Y'all hear that? This is why we end up in mess.
In a mess, because we have a false sense of protection, first of all.
Mm.
And this happened at a very, very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what do I do for myself? How do I go to someone to tell them? And I hear it all the time in our houses, in our culture, we're told what happens in the house, stay in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Don't you tell nobody.
don't
Don't you
tell
spread
nobody.
our business. But
Just
all along, I'm looking at the person that violated me.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That and so that's the thing. It's like, these parents and these and home environments that are
Mhm.
supposed to be
Mhm.
our safe haven.
Yeah.
They supposed to be our gods,
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
first gods that we
Mhm.
meet, to introduce us to our, Abba Father. But
Yeah.
in all of that, you have these people that don't even know how to protect and love you. And now you're out here in a world as an adult
Mhm.
with the little girl and the little boy inside of you that has
Mhm.
not yet found healing and
Mhm.
that has not learned how to become naked and take off these layers.
Mhm. And it creates this whirlwind for us, right?
Mhm,
Because and it creates a whirlwind for us not just in our physical lives but in our spiritual lives, right?
mhm,
Because if daddy or our protectors or whoever is taking that role is
mhm,
not doing it, or they are worried about themselves or whatever. In my
mhm.
case, it wasn't a father, it was someone else. It wasn't a father,
Yes.
it wasn't an uncle, but it was a family member,
Yeah.
right? And so if they are not there to protect us, I found that it affected my relationship with my heavenly father.
Of
So
course.
because I'm sitting there like, where are you? Are you
Mhm.
going to protect me? No, you're not going to protect me because I'm not worthy of your protection.
Mm, And it
I'm
so
not
that
worthy
it
of you
messes up
showing up.
all relationships.
It messes up all relationships. And this is all because we don't know who we are. We are confused. Identity crisis just means to be confused about who you are.
Mm, mm, mm,
And it typically happens when something changes.
mm, mm. Yes. And like give us some examples of like like for people that are listening that
Mhm,
they may know who they are, they may not know who they are, like give
mhm,
them some examples of to how to identify and like what that looks like. I know for me it
mhm,
was me always being around other people and being quiet and just
mhm,
taking in all of their information and what they said to me, and then I would find myself repeating stuff that or even talking like them or laughing
mhm,
like them, and one day I was like, what is this about? I had to
mhm,
ask myself. Nobody said that to me, but
mhm,
I had to ask myself that. And when I asked myself that, I realized that I really didn't know much about myself and who am
mhm,
I. And so what I did know that I was broken. What I did know
mhm,
that I was, I needed help. Like what I did know was that I was, parentless. And I was
mhm,
this parentless girl, but I was a parent. Like,
mhm,
how
mm.
absurd was that? And
Yeah.
so I just knew all of the things that I, was, but I really didn't know how to get out of them. I mean, of course,
Mhm,
I found it in my relationship with God, but I also found it in all of my bad experiences. I would
mhm,
leave those experiences like because when you don't know who you are, you don't know your value, and so you pick up some type of superficial thing or some type
mhm,
of some type of temporary fix that will make you feel better. For me, it was sexual addiction. It was like it
mhm,
just made me comfortable for who I was not.
mhm,
And so let's talk about some of those other things, that people have that, they add to themselves so that they can
mhm.
feel comfortable about them not knowing who they are.
So one in particular for me, it was people pleasing.
Mm. Yeah, I was one of those.
That's one identity crisis. That's one way to identify that you are wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you do is to please someone else. You
Mm-hmm.
you 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 encourage them when they're down, you pick them up. When you buy them stuff, you constantly just making sure they're okay. And I found myself, and this even kind of affected my marriage in the beginning because I was always asking my husband, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? Are you
Mm.
good?" And to the point where he was like, "Stop asking me that." But I grew up having to do that for the people that were around me just to
Because
be
you weren't
accepted.
okay.
because I wasn't accepted.
And you
So
wanted them to
and
to
because I
add
wanted
you.
them to accept me. I wanted them to say, Ty, are you okay?
Yes,
Is something going
yes,
on? So
yes.
we tend to place a mirror, and we try to pull out of people what we want. And that's one thing I had to realize, is that I had to stop expecting me from other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do that.
And that's unfair.
Mm-hmm.
That's really unfair to them, and it's unfair to myself. Then another way to identify that you are wearing a mask or that you have an identity crisis is that if you're never happy,
Mm-hmm.
if nothing
Mm-hmm.
makes you happy,
Yes,
because
yes.
obviously the environment and the people you're around are not for you.
No, no.
Another way to find out if you have an identity crisis, if you're always trying to avoid people
Mm. Avoidance. That's a good one. A good one.
or not being around people, or
And
just
don't
trying.
want to be confront. You don't want to confront
Yes.
anything.
You don't want to confront anything. Listen, this is my foundational scripture for I Am Unmasked. John chapter 4, when Jesus had a conversation with the woman at the well. We
Mm-hmm.
hear it all the time. People talk about the Samaritan woman and how Jesus went through Samaria, but we never really talk about how that conversation freed her. In the first couple of verses, when he asked her for a drink of water, she told him, she said, "Sorry, you can't draw from this," but we got to look at the way she said it. She said,
Mm-hmm.
"Besides, this well is too deep.
Mm.
Like, you don't have what I need.
Mm.
I am out here the hottest part of the day trying to get water because I need to avoid people that keep talking about me. I
Mm.
don't know who I am.
Mm. Mm.
So I'm avoiding people. So every day when I go to that well and I get that bucket of water, and this is the revelation that God gave me, in water, you see your reflection.
Mm.
So every day she had to carry the reflection that she saw, but the reflection that she carried was what everyone else said about her.
Mm. Mm. Sheesh.
Because people going around saying she got 5 husbands. She had 5 husbands. Oh,
Yeah.
she's fast or whatever like that. We don't know the circumstances, and that's the problem.
Yes.
That's another way to find out people that with identity crisis. Those people that point out everybody else's issues so
Mm-hmm.
theirs won't be highlighted.
Yes. Oh my.
That's an identity crisis. They do
Yes.
not know who they are. Let me talk about eeny, meeny, miny, and mo, so you don't see what's really going on with me.
Mm-mm. And I can help you all day long, but I can't help myself.
Exactly.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Or that person that always say, "You know what? I'm glad you said that. I was going to do that." Or they always do everything that you were going
Everything.
to do.
Yes. And then try to do it a little more. They upstage a little more like
Upstage,
it
yes.
was theirs, like it was their
Yes.
idea or their
Yes.
original idea.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm. They are some good, they are some really good examples of y'all. Yeah, I hope y'all heard that people pleasing is high on the list because
Yes.
I feel like I know for a fact a lot of people we talk about, just how we, people please a lot,
Mhm.
always wanted to show up for everybody because
Mhm.
you want people to show up for you.
You.
Always want
Mhm.
to, be there for everybody because you want people to be there for you, but they're
Mhm.
never there. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of like you going through these things, going through life, wanting people
Mhm.
see me, here I am,
Here I am.
help me.
Hi. Yeah.
Like it's me, like I'm good, I'm the
Mhm.
good girl, I'm the good friend, like
Mhm.
me, love me, and one of the things I just remember I had never had a birthday party. And I remember
Mhm.
like a couple of friends, I was like, let's give them a surprise birthday party because I
Mhm.
wanted to be surprised.
Yep.
It's just crazy. Like you
And
don't realize, the habits that you had
mhm.
or what makes you do that until you go back,
Until you go
and you
back.
look at it. And one of the things that, I notice about some people is that, they will, purchase designer all day long, dress it up, wear it, every bag, every
Mhm.
designer shoe. Now, it's nothing wrong with designer, but when
Mhm.
you dress it up, and I know for a fact I can see your mask.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact that because when you become authentic,
Mm-hmm.
superficial does something to you. You pick it up.
Yes, it does.
It,
Oh,
it, it makes you uncomfortable.
it makes
You
me very
it
uncomfortable.
makes you
Yes.
uncomfortable. It
Mm-hmm.
irritates you, and it's that opposite.
Yeah.
If I'm superficial and you're authentic, you make me uncomfortable. You
Yeah.
make me, uncomfortable. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that you can feel it. It exudes through you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
can put on plenty of masks, but that's one of the things that people that they use money and things to love on themselves, and it's like at the end of the day you still don't know who you are.
And when you take that stuff off, you're still depressed, you're still hurt, you still have an identity crisis.
Yes.
They'll even go as far as to name everything that they have on. Oh, give me my Louis Vuitton purse. Give me my iPhone instead of just saying, give me my phone. Give me
Mm-hmm.
this because it's all that they have. They don't know how to say. And you said something earlier. You said the hurting little boy and little girl. But we have to deal with that little boy and that little girl so that
Yes.
we can become men and women. It's a lot of us. I often tell people in psychology, you learn there is no such thing as adult theory, there is only child theory. So, 9 times out of 10, what is affecting you in your adulthood? It comes from a situation that you had in your childhood.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for the hearts.
And and listen, and the problem also is that we are taught to compartmentalize so many things. We're
Mm-hmm.
taught to put it in and lock it away. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is when that compartment opens, we're shocked and we don't know what to do with it.
Yes. Yes. Because we weren't ready for it to open.
Because we weren't ready for it. But you can't keep stuffing things into a locker and not or a door or a closet and not expect it to eventually bust open. That's just like when we keep sweeping stuff under the rug.
Hmm. Hiding it.
I mean, there is no more room under the rug.
No, not at all. And it brings you to this place where I keep stressing this a lot, where I talk about therapy. So if you do have an identity crisis, you don't know who you are, then
Yeah.
the only way to recognize it is to look at the person in the mirror and
Yeah.
say that like you see it. Like,
Hmm.
I really don't know who I am. Like, I could see it, but I can't tell you because you're not ready.
You're not ready.
You're
And
not
you
ready.
probably wouldn't receive it.
No, you wouldn't receive it, and
Hmm.
then you'll be mad at me, and we won't even talk because you felt like I did something to you to wrong
Hmm.
you. But the reality is that if you want to heal and learn who you are and get
Hmm.
to the person that God created you to be, then
Mm.
you have to look in the mirror. You have
Yeah.
to look in the mirror and be brutally honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And
And that I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry. I was gonna say that is our first step in unmasking. You have to acknowledge,
Mm.
because without
Acknowledgement.
acknowledgement, there is no deliverance. There is
Mm.
no breakthrough. You
Did y'all
have
hear
to
that?
acknowledge.
Without acknowledgement, there is no deliverance. So you have to acknowledge your mask. And
Mhm.
somebody said people have been wearing masks for so long, they don't even realize they're wearing one.
That's absolutely true. And listen, not even one mask. We have gotten so
Several.
crafty with it. I got a mask for Danielle. I got a
Mhm.
mask for my husband. I got a mask for
Mm.
this person. And then we get so confused and boggled in our mind that I'm wearing my mask that's for Greg with Danielle. And Danielle, like, what's going on? Wait a minute, that's not the person I'm used to. But then we're getting upset because people not loving us, but we are not showing them the authentic us to love.
Yes, the authentic us. And so, how do you get to authentic? How do you
Hmm.
get to your authentic self? And so I'm asking you because
Hmm.
you're a life coach. You
Hmm.
have helped women to unmask
Mhm.
And I believe that, the one thing when people ask me, have I gone to counseling? I'm always like, no, I have not gone to counseling, but
Mhm.
I have the ability to touch women that sit in my chair every day. And in me
Mhm.
touching those women, I actually have had some conversation with you along with
Mhm.
other people where we have conversations back and forth. And those conversations are actually healing
Mhm.
conversations.
Yeah.
I might have never sat at your in your office as one of your life coach patients, but
Mhm.
we have had some healing
We
conversations.
have. We have.
You have helped me heal through a lot of different transitions in my life, and a lot of those things you read about in the book, but it takes a village. And so,
Yeah.
when what I wanted to say was that, when I say you have to look in the mirror, it reminds me of that scripture. And I meant to pull it up because I pulled it up under the message version again.
Mhm.
And it's the scripture that talks about when you look at your reflection in the mirror
Mm.
and you forget what you look like.
Mm. Let me
I'm
see.
sorry, y'all. I
What's
don't have, and I actually let me see, what was it? Did I go away?
no, you still here.
Well, I don't have it, but
Okay.
I do have I do have it in my email, and that's one of the things that I wanted to actually,
Mhm.
drive home to people was that, when you can't remember what you look like,
Mm.
when you look at yourself in the mirror, now this is Bible. When you look at
Mhm.
yourself in the mirror and you forget what you look like,
What you look like. That's something, right?
yes, that's something. That's a
Yeah.
crisis.
Mhm.
That's a
So
crisis.
that is. So you asked me what are some of the steps that I use, and offhand I could give you just a couple because we go through a whole program. The
Mhm,
program is actually designed to the person,
mhm,
that I speak with. But the first thing, like we said, you have to acknowledge because we believe, and that's one of the steps, without acknowledgement, there is no deliverance. The second thing you have to do, you have to sort out, and now we got to dig. We got to find out what needs to be there and what needs to not be there.
mhm,
When a seed goes into the ground, right? A seed has to go through so much. It has to go through germination. And so think
mhm,
about it. A seed is under a hard dirt, right?
mhm,
And it goes through different seasons. It goes through different climates. There is rain, there is sun, there is snow. So the
mhm,
seed is in the ground, and that seed actually has to bust open in
mhm,
order to bloom. And
mhm.
when you acknowledge who you are, you have to be willing. And this is why you need a therapist, a life coach, a psychiatrist, whoever you need, but somebody that's going to be there to not only comfort you, but that person needs to hold you accountable.
Yes. Yeah.
Stop having people in your circle that is not going to hold you accountable because you'll find yourself right back where you were with the identity crisis. People
Yes.
that are going to be yes men, people that are going
Mm.
to tell you that, oh,
Change your
yeah, that's good.
circles.
No, I need somebody to say, no, that ain't right. You need to
Yeah.
do something different. You
Yeah.
need to pull me up. The Bible says that iron sharpens iron.
Mm. Mm-mm. Iron sharpens.
Guess why it sharpens? Guess why it sharpens iron? My brother blessed me with this. You know what iron? When iron is sharpening iron, it gets heated. You're gonna get mad. It's not gonna feel good.
Mm. Mm. That's good.
It's going to get hot. It's going to make you uncomfortable. So when I say the seed go in the ground and it has to bust open, yes, you have to sort out those things that need to stay and those things that need to leave.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it takes time. Be gentle with yourself. Most times we are so hard on ourselves.
We are, and with that, not only are we hard on ourselves, but like she said, it's also the thing that we've had these people around for so long that
Mm,
we don't even want to detach from them.
nope.
And we
Mm-mm.
question ourselves, oh, is it really, I don't think that it's that bad. It can't be that bad. Yes, it
Mhm.
is that bad when it comes to your sanity and you
Mhm.
learning and growing to become a better person. But
Yeah.
you have to pry yourself away from these people so
Mhm.
that you can become, you know, unmask and learn
Yeah.
more about
Mhm.
this journey, because if
Yes.
you don't leave and peel your way, it's like you have to leave. It's for the
Mhm.
health, and it's for your life.
Yeah. For your life and not for your health, but for your offsprings. How about that?
Yes.
It
And
is here
offspring.
here is what hurts. What hurts me for people,
Mhm.
because I have a heart for people.
Mhm.
And this and understand that this is my experience.
Mhm.
So this is why I can speak about it so clear and so boldly. Your children should not be carrying what you did not kill.
Mm.
How
Mm.
many of us are carrying what our parents did not kill? How many of us had to
Yes.
hold that burden?
Yes.
How
Yes.
many of us still trying to pull off our mother's mask, our father's mask,
Yes.
because nobody was there to hold them accountable or
Mm.
help them?
Mm. The sins of the father fall upon the child.
And so now I have my parents' mask, I have my mask, and now my child has to carry all of that because
Mm.
I'm not willing
Mm.
to
Mm.
take it off.
Mm. And that's and several people have said you can say that again,
Yeah.
because what we are unwilling to confront and what we don't deal with, our
Hmm.
children will deal with.
Will carry. Yep.
Our children, and then our children's children will carry and deal
Yeah.
with. And can you
That could.
imagine that? Can you imagine as an adult the stuff that we have that we haven't dealt with as little girls and little
Girls.
boys?
Hmm.
Now that mantle gets passed down to my children and my grandchildren.
Hmm.
It's like, and are they strong enough, and will they be strong enough
Strong
to
enough to
fight it?
handle it.
It's that generational thing. It's going from
Hmm.
one generation to the next. And who
Hmm.
will step up and be the chosen
Hmm.
David to fight Goliath?
Hmm.
Who will do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Goodness, that was
and
good.
and so and so you have to sort through. You have to decide, like I said, what to keep and what to throw away.
Mm,
It's not easy. Like I said, be gentle with yourself. Be
mhm.
gentle with yourself. We walk around wondering why people can't love people. The principle in the Bible says, love your neighbor as you do yourself. But how can I love my neighbor if I don't love myself? It's
Exactly.
not going to work. I'm going to love them the way I love myself. So that's
Mhm.
why our children. And so when we talk about our children carrying things that we didn't abolish, it could be something as simple as a bad attitude.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
very simple.
Mhm.
Like, because we had a bad attitude because adults didn't pay us any attention, now we done taught our children to have a bad attitude. And
Mhm.
so now they are walking around with this chip on their shoulder and they don't even know why.
No,
So
they
we have to learn what to throw away and what to keep. Along with that, you're going to have to affirm yourself. I am strong. I
mm,
am whole, no matter what it looks like. If you
affirm
keep
yourself.
telling yourself, you
Mm,
build up a confidence.
mhm.
I had some clients tell me, I feel so stupid when I look in the mirror and talk to myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I said, okay, we got to get over the stupidness, and you got to keep talking to yourself.
Yes, yes, because you at some point have to
Yep.
learn to love the person that
Hmm.
you're looking at.
Yep. You have to, because I cannot love you if I don't love me.
Mm, mm-mm.
I can't love you if I don't love me.
And it's a boatload of us out here loving on
Yeah.
other people, and it's a distorted, dysfunctional
Yeah.
definition of love.
Yeah. And understand that you are qualified for what you were created for.
Mm,
I'm gonna
say
say
that
that
again.
again. You are
You are
qualified
qualified.
for what you were created for. Here's what we have to understand. All of us have a gift.
Yes.
All of us. But
Yes.
what we have to stop doing in our identity crisis is measuring our gift up to someone else's.
And we do that all the time.
You can't look at somebody else and say, why can't, because you haven't walked their shoes. If you knew the price and the weight of that gift,
Mm.
you wouldn't be able to handle it. That does not make your gift insignificant.
No.
What that says is that you are gifted for what you're gifted for. Now, as the Bible says, walk worthy.
Mm. Mm-mm.
So stop when you affirm yourself, stop measuring up to someone else. It is just you and God. Through the sole of your eyes, see
Mhm.
God.
Through the
Because
soul of your eyes, see God.
we look for man to be God for us when we have to realize that he abides inside of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when I am looking in a mirror and I am saying I am whole,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be whole because I am is there.
And
I am
and I
enough.
gotta believe it, but you
And I
also
gotta
have to
believe it.
have a relationship with him to believe
Relationship
it.
with him. Understand that Abba loves you.
Yes.
He's there every step of the way. I heard this on, it wasn't your last show, but it was the event that you gave. Somebody said that, and I love this scripture. In Psalms, it talks about he's that close, he's that much more closer to the brokenhearted. So when you're brokenhearted, he's right there.
Yes. Yes.
And so I am whole. I am healed. I
Mm,
am beautiful.
mm,
I am enough.
mm.
I am qualified. You have to keep telling yourself this every day, all day. Whenever a tragedy or whenever something comes your way, or you feel like you're not going to make it, or a task, or something like maybe you feel your identity crisis coming back. I am whole.
Mhm,
I am healed. I
mhm,
am gifted. I am a light.
mm.
I am. You got to put your emphasis on it, and then it goes to what you just said. Then here comes belief. Because once you embed it in your soul, you start believing.
You start believing that in which you keep speaking, because you're speaking life into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Those words,
Mm-hmm.
you're learning new words to speak
Yep.
life into yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that you're hiding, you're moving from hiding to
Yes.
acknowledgement, to now
Acknowledgement.
declaring and affirming
Mm-hmm.
who you are, and then you have confidence, and now you are starting to believe that you are
Mm-hmm.
who you
And
say.
so, and this is what I've learned. Power is in your belief, right?
Mhm.
So once you believe, you start having power. But here, listen to this. So after belief, there comes something after belief. After belief, there is a knowing.
Mm.
So
After
power
belief,
is in
there's
your
a knowing.
belief. Power is in your belief, but your authority is in your knowing.
Mm.
So when
Power
you
is
know
in
who
your
you
belief.
are, but your authority is in your knowing.
The authority is in your knowing, and
So when
knowing
I
who you are.
know, when I know who I am, I then have the authority to speak to
Mm,
any situation.
mm, 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 mm.
And that is how we get through this identity crisis.
Did y'all hear that? I hope y'all heard that. I hope y'all heard all of these tips as to how to get through your identity crisis. And
Mhm.
I, for the life of me, try to figure out, actually, the one of the things that you said is that it's ongoing. Like,
Mhm.
I don't fully know the extent of who God created me to be at
Mhm.
this moment, because I'm still discovering it.
Yeah.
I'm still discovering freedom.
Yes.
These sessions aren't just for other people, they're also for myself.
For us. Yep.
For us, it's like, when like minds link together,
Mhm.
and we can pour into one another, and have uncomfortable conversations, and sow into another person knowledge and wisdom.
Mhm.
Then we take that, and it creates
Mhm.
power.
Yeah.
You said it's power in the knowing.
It's power in your belief, but authority in your knowing.
Authority in the knowing. Power in your belief. But when you believe
Mhm.
that I know who I am,
Mhm.
and when you have authority,
Mhm.
it is when you know.
It's when you
I
know.
know without a shadow of a doubt.
Mhm.
I know. and I'm walking in that authority.
Mm-hmm.
And so I also would say today that I am walking in the authority of who God
Yes.
created me to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember and can't give you a when. When
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it in the book, but when the broken girl some
Mm-hmm.
way discovered that she was healed, and that
Yeah.
she started to believe, and that
Mm.
she started walking in her authority, that
Mm-hmm.
you know she started being who God created her to be. That was the girl that wrote the book. That was the girl that said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
God, you want me to have these uncomfortable conversations on social media because
Mm-hmm.
we need healing and we need to free ourselves as individuals. Then I'm going to have those uncomfortable conversations. I'm going to show up. It doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter how I
Mm-hmm.
feel. I'm going to show up because I'm okay with me.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with me and how I look, and I'm going to show up that way to help another person free
Yeah.
themselves, get naked,
Mm-hmm.
and take off their mask.
Listen, that brings me to the ending of that story with Jesus, with the woman at the well. He sat and talked to her, and what he said to her, he said, in order for you to get this living water, you have to be truthful. So let's talk about all of the ugly stuff. Let's talk
Mm,
about the stuff that you hide. Let's talk about all of that. Let's he said, yeah, my people worship in Jerusalem, your people worship here at the well, but there's gonna come a time where we're gonna put all of that aside and we're going to come to the Father, because the Father is looking for those who worship, who
mm,
live in
mm.
spirit and in truth. In spirit, and no matter how ugly the truth is,
How
the
ugly.
Father is seeking for the truth, for
Mhm.
the true worshipers. Listen, just to what you said, the Bible says that after Jesus had that conversation with her, the very people that she avoided because she had an identity crisis,
Mhm.
that pail that she carried, it says she left her water pot and
Mm,
she ran to tell the people that she was avoiding. Now let me free you. Come see a man who told me all about my life. Come
mm.
on.
Not what you told me I
But
was.
let me come see him who told me about my life, because I want you to experience some of this freedom that he gave me.
Mm, 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 mm. Now that's forgiveness too.
And yes, that's forgiveness. And what we have to understand is what we're doing right here. We're looking for healing, but the secret is in the conversation.
The secret is in the conversations. In the
We have to
conversation.
have these conversations. That's why it is a blessing for people like you who are living authentically. That's going to have a platform at 10 o'clock at night where people are mainly depressed, where
Mm,
they don't know what they're going to do, where
mm,
someone is laying in a bed crying because they feel bad, but
mm,
someone named Danielle C. Giddings is going to have a live conversation
mm, mm.
that's going to free my soul. The secret is in the conversation.
The
So
secret
I
is
believe on tonight that someone threw that water pot down.
mm, 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 mm. Throw your
We have
water
to
pot.
understand what we are called to. Yes, you went through all, and I'm going to say all of that beautiful stuff. You know
Yeah.
why I'm saying all of that beautiful stuff? Because it made you and it
It
shaped
made
you
you
to
who
who you
you
are
are.
now.
Yes. And you have to get to the point in life
Yeah.
where you acknowledge
Yes.
those things that happen to you. And when
Hmm.
you acknowledge them, you don't acknowledge them in a way where it's painful. You
Hmm.
acknowledge it in a way where you understand, like, wow, God,
Yeah.
you brought me through all of that.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
and if you brought me through all of that, like,
Hmm.
look how powerful that I can get through
Yeah.
anything. It makes you feel like you're superwoman.
Hmm. I I can tell you, and I want people to know what you did for me, because while I was going through this unmasking, while I was going through this becoming who I am, God used you to confirm it when you had your photo shoot. And you said,
Mm,
you gave all of us a name, and you told me mine was be authentic.
mm,
You charged me and didn't even know it.
mm.
Like, you gave me a charge. And at that point, I was like, God, I hear you, because you confirmed the very thing that I was trying to do. And you spoke to me, you affirmed me. You said, be authentic.
And you know what? Just hearing you say that, I didn't know. I just knew that I was spending time with God and creating it and writing
Mm-hmm.
out my vision of what He wanted me. But the thing is about being authentic. It was like when I think about that, I think about like who you are now. But I think
Mm-hmm.
about in the when you were doing that time when you were battling with opening and becoming
Mm-hmm.
I am unmasked, becoming
Mm-hmm.
the Ty Miller, the life coach. It was like the very thing that people loved about you, that knew who you were, was
Mm-hmm.
that boldness.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it. If anybody know you, it's like, here come Ty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this excitement because it's like, the hair, the power, the authority. It's like you came like a roaring lion. So to me, you were always authentic. Like
But
I
listen,
saw
I
you
was
the way God.
struggling.
Mm,
Mm.
that's crazy.
You
I
saw
saw
me.
you the way God
You
saw you.
saw me. But inside, I was saying, can I really be this person?
Mm. Listen, y'all get y'all some friends.
Yeah.
Y'all get y'all some friends, some people, some hairstylists. I ain't
Yeah.
know. Get y'all some
Stylists.
people that are gonna see you the way God sees you before you
Yes.
even become it and walk in the
Yes.
authority of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh,
Mm-hmm.
that was good.
People that's going to hold you accountable.
Hold you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said you always have a confidence presence.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So I mean, I'm sorry, I just got distracted.
It's okay.
But in that, it's just, it confirms so many things for me
Mm-hmm.
that, all of the transitions
Mm-hmm.
that were heavy for me to transition through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, just like, well, let's just say we know the transitions that the both
Mm-hmm.
of us had to transition through.
Yeah.
And that is when God was creating us to be totally naked in who He had made us to be. Not for us
Yes.
to hide,
Mm-mm.
not hide like Adam and Eve, but to be naked and true and authentic and
Mm-hmm.
say, here I am, God, use me in whatever
Yeah.
way you feel and see fit to use me. And
Mm-hmm.
so in me being naked,
Mm.
God had to pull me away from Egypt
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
take me on this journey into Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're on this journey, those things that those insecurities, those things that Ty talked about, those things, when you have the power to pull yourself away and go on that journey in the opposite direction and don't look back,
Mm-hmm.
then you become this woman
Mm. Mm. Okay. Wait a minute.
that you see today.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
I need
am unmasked.
yes, I
I
am
am
too. Because I couldn't wait to get
authentic.
that off.
I am totally okay in the
Mm-hmm.
skin that I am. I am
Yeah.
okay with being um not accepted from
Come
everybody.
on
I
here.
am okay with being isolated when God isolates me. I am
Mm-hmm.
okay with being not being a part of the party or not going to hang out with the girls. I am okay with being
Mm-hmm.
who I am, authentically me, Danielle C.
Yeah.
Gibbons. And that's because I went through the journey of
Mm-hmm.
discovering me,
Yeah.
naked, unashamed,
Unashamed.
naked and unashamed. and
Mm-hmm.
and and in that, you have to find somebody.
Yes.
When you
Somebody.
walk, when you start walking in that, you have to
Mm-hmm.
find somebody to spill your truth to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
and it can't be anybody,
Mm-hmm.
because Ty and I were comfortable with sharing ourselves and
Mhm.
our insecurities with each other. You laying
Yeah.
them down. It's like you lay it at the altar. You lay it at the foot of your friend
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
already knew who you
Who
were
you were.
before you.
Ain't that listen, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
sorry. Y'all hear my grandson back there. I don't know what is going on.
He's being authentic.
Yeah.
He like, don't do that to me. He said, y'all talking about authenticity and you know what else, Danny, that I wanted to tell you? Remember, you and I both was reading the same book at the same time. I didn't realize it. Cindy Trim's 40-Day Soul Fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was a while ago.
And we was like, you reading that book? Oh, I'm reading that book too. Like that is
That was a journey of discovering. See, it's tools out here and resources. Let's give
yep,
them some tools and resources. Tell
yep.
people how they can, the thing about it is, I was never a reader,
Mm-hmm.
but the moment I knew I needed something and I didn't have it, I
Mm-hmm.
went to find a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found
And
a book.
And there are a lot of because I read a lot now, but there are a lot of books out there that are reader friendly, that are easy reads, that are not hard to read. Um, they're like Cindy Trim 40-Day Soul Fast. That's an excellent book. Like I
Oh,
would do
yes.
that.
That's definitely excellent.
Danielle Gettings. Let me tell you something. I read your book in one day. Literally. I was like, this is a page turner. And I wish I could have done this downstairs because I wanted you to see I have my bookshelf. And just like I have Michelle Obama's Becoming, I have your book sitting out so it can be displayed because
Mhm.
those are the books that were inspirational to me. And so
Mhm.
just your transparency, like
Mhm.
that people need that. We try
Yes.
to be so secretive, but somebody needs to know that they're going through that you went through the same thing that they're going through now.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know,
Yes.
so you got books out there. If you don't want to read, get audiobooks.
Yes.
Will
Audiobook.
Smith's book. Have you read Will Smith's book?
No.
Good book. Because
Okay.
he talks about how everything that you see on a camera is
Mhm.
not him.
Mhm. Mhm. And see how people have to recreate
Yep.
themselves
Hmm.
in front of a camera. Well, he's
Hmm.
an actor. That's different. But some of
Yeah.
us are out here acting, and y'all not actors.
But he talks about himself, about how he talks about how he's really not that person. How he was like growing up, he felt like he was a coward. Like you have to, that book is good.
Wow. Wow.
It's a book called The Four Agreements. That's another good
I,
book.
I have that. I have that on my list.
That's
I
it.
have
That's
not
another
yet
good
read
book.
that one.
Yes. Um, oh my goodness. Um, oh, it's so many things. I can
It
send them
is
to
so
you, and I
many
don't know if you
things.
can put it's so
No,
many
but
things.
just
Podcasts.
podcasts, books,
Yeah.
life coaches,
Yep.
therapy,
Hmm.
journals. There are so many
Hmm.
things. I always say, if you are not comfortable yet with exposing your
Hmm.
truth to someone, you can expose that truth to your journal.
To your journal.
It's between
Journals,
you and God.
perfect. I I journal all day.
Yes.
I journal all day. I have conditioned myself to journal, and what the journal does for you is it gives you control. You can open the book and you can close the book.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And
It
once you
gives you
start
control.
writing, sometimes
Mhm.
you sit and once you start writing, because God, I love God so much
Mhm.
because you showed up
Mm.
to confront and start writing these things. And the minute you
Mhm.
start saying, God, I don't know, but
Mhm.
blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah, you start writing. It's like before you know it, you have written
Mhm.
5 pages
Mhm.
and didn't even know, and it makes you close up, and you are in awe
Mhm. Mhm.
that you got all of those things out
Mhm.
and that you can speak on them.
Mhm.
And so you know I just want to thank you, Ty, for just
Thank
coming on
you.
and sharing with, everybody tonight that it is okay to be naked, unashamed,
Yes.
free, and
Mhm.
unmasked. You do not
Absolutely.
need to wear these masks
Mm-mm.
every single day.
It's
Wearing
gonna mess
this
up your
mask,
hair.
it's gonna mess up everything. I mean, we were
Yeah.
wearing them, but hey, I don't have to wear a mask anymore. I am
Yeah.
free. I am
Absolutely.
free. And so this is how you look, guys, when you are wearing all of these
Mhm.
masks. And that saddens our Father because that's not who He created
Nope.
us to be.
Mm-mm.
And so tonight, I just want to thank you, my sister, um,
Mm.
our life coach, my client, our friend, for showing up to have this wonderful conversation about unmasking.
Yeah.
How to, unmask yourself from all of those insecurities, from all of those wrongful things that you've been given, and, walk yourself into a journey of freedom. And we
Yeah.
have had so many people on. They have enjoyed you.
Oh,
You
thank
can
you.
go back and look at everything. But I want you guys to follow her, connect with her, give them your information to her.
Okay. So you can follow me at Tawanda Cooper Miller, but you can just go to I Am Unmasked on Facebook. I Am Unmasked on IG, and you can visit my website at iamunmasked.com.
Okay, but before we get off, I need you to tell them about the I Am Unmasked retreat that is coming up, that
Oh,
is co ed.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. So last year I spoke about it. We had our inaugural retreat last year. Stepped out in 2021. Was questioning God because of the pandemic. He said, "Step out." We had a beautiful time.
Mhm.
Awesome presenters. This year we are going to have a retreat. Same time, August 12th through 14th. It is going to be in Solomon's Island this year. Nice. Nice hotel, nice little getaway, nice
Yeah.
weekend. We have some awesome things planned. It is co-ed. You can bring your significant other or your brother. It doesn't matter. Bring them. We're going to have a celebration in the hotel's banquet hall that night. Nice dancing, fun. But before we do all of that, we are going to do some unmasking. Powerful speakers. I will be
Mm.
speaking
Yeah.
just so that we can help each other. Again, iron sharpens iron. And Danny can tell you in that room, there was so much connection.
Mm.
There was so much power in that room. We could lean on each other. And I believe that this year is going to be 10 times better. And I am excited just to see people healed and free. I am excited about us freeing those who were wrongfully in prison. So listen, it get your tickets, go to iamunmasked.com, click on the retreat tab. You'll see all the information. You can reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'll be there to answer any questions for you.
Yes, you guys, y'all need to, if you've never been to a retreat before, this one is co-ed. Men, we always say, the men are always like, how do y'all go on retreats all the time? What do y'all
Mhm.
do? They don't understand it. But, to have a co-ed retreat, and just the one thing that I remember was that I don't know, well, I know what it was. It was you creating and setting up the room beforehand. But that room
Mhm.
was full of the spirit for people to be able to release
Mhm.
and share their
Mhm.
truth. And
Mhm.
that was very shocking to me that on the first day, it's
Yeah.
like everybody came with a purpose. And
Yeah.
that purpose was to unmask. And it didn't take all weekend for us to do that. And so that was a wonderful thing that I remember. And I definitely love the meditation because it
So
allows.
I forgot to mention that we did it last year, and we have D all weekend this time. And she is going to kick us off with teaching us again how to meditate. Listen, Danielle, tell them how she shut that room down.
It,
It
I felt like I wanted to go to sleep afterward.
like
I was just like, I was just so
awesome.
relaxed, so
Mhm.
relaxed. And that's what we need because we have
Yeah.
these, ongoing lives. We on 20 all the time. We are, moving, shaking, and doing
Mhm.
life. And we need to shut our minds down. We
Yeah.
need to relax. We need to, just settle and meditate into God. And so
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I love, and I'm looking forward to that. But
Yeah.
you guys, we're not gonna keep y'all any longer. But thank you. Y'all give it up for our wonderful life coach, Tawanda Miller.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for having this
Thank you.
uncomfortable conversation with me. Unmask, get
Mhm.
naked. And if y'all
Yes.
need to go back and look at this, go back and look at it. But if you learn to unmask and get naked and start a journey of discovering your freedom,
Mhm.
trust me, you will never want to go back.
Never go back.
You will never want to go back. And that's
Mhm.
when God can reveal to you who he wanted you to be. Because he said
Yeah.
he saw you, he
From the
knew you
beginning. Yep.
before
Mhm.
you were born. And
Mhm.
so, thank you for joining us. We love you guys. And thank you, Ty. I
I
can't wait
love
to see
you.
you at I Am Unmasked.
All right.
Y'all have
Love
a great
you.
night.
See ya.
Y'all. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you for joining us.